When you are disconnected from that light in our heart, we are diseased. That light is nothing but the divine that is living in our hearts. Vedantare vasantaram. In the Ganesha Pachara, there is an example. In many other texts, Adi Bhagavo Brahma Iti. In the Upanishads, it is said that ultimately the divine is nowhere but in your heart. If you are disconnected, V means yogam. If you are disconnected from the divine in your heart, that is disease. Now, take any disease, starting from back pain to cancer. That's what it does. We are more concerned about back pain than Paramatma at that time. We are more concerned about cancer than the divine. So, disease ultimately disconnects us, but the disconnection from the divine itself is a disease. The disconnection from divine itself is a disease, and that is why in yoga as a therapy, we are not stopping at removing physical, physiological suffering. We are transcending above that. And that is the idea of what is called disease and what we have to do. Now, how does yoga function? How does yoga function as a therapeutic process? Again, there are differences between yoga and other disciplines. There is a difference between yoga and other disciplines. Now let's say you have appendicitis. What do? You go to a surgeon. Surgeon is removing, doing one slipstick, and then you are cured of appendicitis. Let's say you have some back pain. You go to a massage therapist, they are doing some massage on you. The disease is going away, the back pain is reduced. In yoga as a therapy, I cannot do headstand so that your headache goes away. I cannot do pranayama so that your breathing problem will go away. You have to empower yourself. So the first thing about yoga as a therapy is what is called self-empowerment. This is the biggest challenge for yoga today, because most people want to just take a pill or somebody else to fix the problem, not empower themselves in their process of recovery. If we have some problem today, we are trying to find out who can solve it rather than thinking, okay, we can do something about it. Yoga is teaching us that, okay, if you want some problem to disappear, there is no one who can help you except yourself. I always say that a yoga therapist or a teacher's job is not to be a bus driver who is taking all the passengers in the bus and driving. The yoga therapist or a yoga teacher's job is like somebody who fixes the coordinate in the GPS of the car or the bus and tell the person, now you drive. The teacher cannot solve the problem. The therapist cannot solve the problem. This is great for us yoga therapists because unlike medical doctors, we cannot think of ourselves as God and saviors. Because whoever is doing the practice, they are the saviors, not somebody else. But a doctor can save your life. They can do a surgery which is very complicated and save your life. Yoga therapist cannot save your life. So we can remain very simple and we can be very jolly and do whatever jokes we want. Nobody will look up to us. Nobody has to look up to us because we are not saviors. We can shake, but we cannot save. And also Janet asked me, why he has a beard? I said, he wants to be better looking than the Shivaji in the statue. But I thought he was talking about Chhatrapati Shivaji. He said, I will think about Shivaji statue. I didn't know our Shivaji Ganeshan deserved the statue. Okay, Pondicherry. Anyway, so that is the first one, that is called self-empowerment. Now the other point about yoga as a therapy that is very important to remember is that it is holistic. Yoga as a therapy is holistic. You cannot think that body problems are coming only from the body. Modern psychology is talking about it. There is what is called psychosomatic diseases. But yoga is looking at different dimensions of our system. There is what is called Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, etc. Where some problems that you may have in a physical level need not be from your body, it can come from emotions. Sometimes emotional problem can come because of something which is happening in the physical level. So when we are talking about yoga, we are saying we have to look at disease in a holistic manner. Now holistic is not separating ourselves from our environment. You may suffer something in a particular environment that if you change the environment, you may not suffer from. Very simple example. For example, if you go to a high mountain, you may suffer from breathing problems because oxygen level is very low. Whereas you come to sea level, the breathing problem is not there. So certain environments can create certain problems. The environment changes according to seasons. You take certain people who have certain problems like arthritis, becomes more in winter. Skin problems becomes more in summer. Environment has a role. So if you are talking about holistic nature, we have to consider the holistic nature of humanity as well. Where we live has an influence on our diseases and our recovery. Now, holistic nature also implies holisticness not only in terms of space but also time. You may have some problems because of some problems that you had in the past. Today people talk about trauma. Now sometimes you may have problems not only because something happened to you in your past, but it happened to people before you, your great-grandfather, your grandfather, grandmother. Psychologists now are talking about this, they are calling it transgenerational trauma. You may not have had any trauma yourself, but maybe your grandmother had, your grandfather had, and therefore you are suffering post-traumatic symptoms as if you had, because this is passed on. This is not new. In yoga therapy we call it vasana. The word vasana is very important. Fantastic word, because vasana has another meaning. It's called smell. What's the unique quality of the smell? It stays. Vasati, that's the root of the word vasana. Vasana, to stay. Smell remains. You take for example, sometimes you go on a conference or something, you are given a hotel room. Some fellow would have smoked before you. He's gone. Smell remains. Smell remains. So vasana remains. What happened in the past remains. That's why our acharyas, the yoga masters, call it vasana. It will remain, it will continue to stay, and it will influence you. Sometimes it will become so much a part of you that you don't notice it. That's another unique quality of a smell. You remain in a place where it is smelly, bad smell. Slowly you will not smell the bad smell anymore. You get used to it. Your senses recalibrates to that bad smell. Recalibrates. So the same happens when the vasana is so strong. Somehow we don't realize it, but it is still there subconsciously. Influences. So that's the holistic nature. We have to consider everything. Not just, okay, physical problem means there is some physical origin. Emotional problem means there is an emotional origin, not necessary. There can be physical obstacles that is coming because of emotional reasons. I see a lot of people today in yoga classes, even some people cannot squat. Not because they have problem with the bones and joints, etc., but it could be because there is some emotional knots in the body, energetic knots in the body, energetic blockages in the body that has to be removed. So that is why we have to look at everything holistically. Then another important thing is what is called individualized. The moment we say we are looking at each human being in a holistic way, we are all different. We are all different. We have constitution that is different. We have vasanas that are different. Not all of us have the same experience. We have energy levels that are different. We have emotional structures that are different. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted, some people are perverted. We have all range of people. We have all range of people. So we are not the same. And two people may come with similar problems. We cannot look at them the same way. We have to look at them differently. I always remember this classic example. I had the great fortune of observing my father over a long time when he was doing therapy. And there was a couple who came, a husband and wife, both had similar problems. They were diagnosed with similar problems, obesity and depression. So doctors were giving them the same medication because they were also similar age. But nothing was working. They came to yoga because the doctor said, "Oh, you are doing this, you cannot even help it." So they came to my father. My father looked at it, was very simple for him. For one person, depression was the cause, obesity was the consequence. For the other one, obesity was the cause, depression was the consequence. So you cannot approach the healing the same way because each person is individually different. So yoga therapy cannot be practiced in groups. Yoga therapy must be practiced individually. That is one thing that reasonably yoga therapy and medicine is common sharing, hopefully, because I hope when you go to a doctor, he or she is meeting you one-to-one, not as a group. Sometimes a group of doctors are working on one patient, doing surgery and all those things. That is okay. But one doctor seeing 5 patients at the same time is not yet happening. And I hope it will not happen because disease cannot be treated that way. Disease has to be treated individually. It cannot be treated in a same manner for everybody. Every individual will have to be looked at differently, even if they are having similar problems. A Vata dominant person will recover from an illness differently than a Pitta dominant person, than a Kapha dominant person. Incidentally, modern yoga is obsessed with Vata dominance. That's why there is so many problems in modern yoga. But the best constitution for healing is Kapha. Because that is what gives strength and stability. So fat is good, my friends. I am not saying this because I am reasonably well equipped with Ganesha's gifts. But actually, especially when you are suffering from illness, fat is good. Kapha is the most important constitution or most important dosha that is needed for healing. That's why traditionally even doctors would say when they give medication, take rest. Because they wanted the kapha to dominate. Take rest. And I have a very simple rule for yoga therapy. When I don't know what will help, I will try to improve their sleep. Usually their health will improve. If you improve your sleep, the health will improve because sleep dominates kapha. But please don't think, okay, sir has said we have to dominate kapha, therefore I start taking sweets. Actually, white sugar is not kapha dominant, it is actually vata dominant. That's why we are all suffering. When the Ayurvedic text they say take sweet, they were talking about things that are naturally sweet, like honey, like jaggery, all those things which are naturally sweet, not our modern refined white sugar that is poison. The worst thing for healing is vata. But vata does not allow for stability and healing. So So that's why Vata disorders are the most difficult to heal. That's why you have to worry about healing individually. Every person should be treated differently. Now another major thing about yoga as a therapy is that yoga is non-invasive. Non-invasive. My grandfather defined yoga therapy as Ashastra, Shastra Chikitsa. Shastra Chikitsa means invasive therapy. You have surgery, you are invading the body to cut something. Ashastra, Shastra Chikitsa. Shastra Chikitsa is different, Shastra Chikitsa. Shastra means weapons. Knife is a weapon, sir. Scissor is a weapon. Yeah. Ashastra means without weapon. So he was defining yoga therapy as surgery without surgical instruments. Surgery without the surgical instruments. Because in yoga, we are using body's own resources. You are doing asana, you are using your hands and legs. You are doing pranayama, you are using your breathing. You are using mantra, you are using your voice. You are using meditation, you are using your own mind. So you are not using external interventions, whether it is a person or an intervention. You don't need an external person when you are practicing asana, pranayama or mantra or meditation. You don't need instruments. You don't need instruments. You just need yourself. And this is also a problem now in the yoga field because yoga props has become a big business, which is actually against yoga. Props in yoga is anti-yoga. Props are not proper in yoga. But this has become a very big business. Very, very big business. My grandfather wrote an article in 1930 saying why yoga therapy is the cheapest form of therapy, because he said you need nothing except yourself. Huh? Now it's costly. Oh, it's very expensive. They go to a yoga therapist, they say first buy yoga pants, then buy yoga top, then buy yoga japamala, buy yoga earrings, buy yoga tattoo, buy yoga eyeliner, buy yoga mat. Everything we have to buy. By that time we are saying goodbye. We don't have any more money to take care of ourselves. You know, we are there. So non-invasiveness. There is no invasion because we are only changing our internal environment in the body for disease to go away. See, yoga is about ahimsa. We don't, for example, don't want to kill a mosquito that is biting you. Right? Whether there is a very simple method. Cut a lemon, put some clouds in the lemon, keep it on either side of you. Mosquitoes will not touch you. You are changing the environment so that what is bothering you goes away. Yoga, we are changing the internal environment so that disease goes away. In this way, there is no antibiotic in yoga, there is no anti-life. Probiotics. This is non-invasive. Another weakness in some people's eye about yoga, but a reality and in my view a strength of yoga is that yoga is not prescriptive. Yoga is evolving over time. It's an evolving process. See, you may meet a patient where you may think, okay, for this person maybe Sarvangasana is good, but that person cannot do Sarvangasana today. So you may have to build a process that evolves them to be able to do that. But not only that, normally when people come to therapy, especially to yoga, I don't know how it is in Pondicherry, but in Chennai, in many parts of the world, when people have a disease, they don't come first yoga as a therapy. They try other things. Yes. It fails. Yoga is kind of like, okay, I've tried everything, nothing works. I will also try yoga. If it doesn't work, I lose nothing. If it works, I gain something. So in some ways, we are kind of their last not hope, at last hopeless. No, we are kind of the last hopeless situation. So, when people come to us, they don't necessarily come to us because there is a particular disease. They come to us because there is something that is bothering them the most at that time. Because by that time, disease goes through 4, 5, 6 stages. In yoga, we are saying disease goes through 6 stages. What are the 6 stages? First stage is accumulation. Accumulation, sanchayam. It accumulates. Some little tension in the neck is starting to happen. We don't pay attention. Only tension. It is not really hurting us. It is only tension. We are doing some movement of the neck time to time. But we are not paying attention to it. Slowly, sanchayam becomes prakopam. It starts to hurt. We get neck pain. But I cannot take leave because of neck pain. My boss will not give me leave because of neck pain. So I have to go to work. So I go to work with neck pain. I continue with the work. The neck pain is continuing. Because the neck pain is not addressed well, there is what is called prakopa becomes prasara. It extends. My hand starts to feel strange. It extends to my hands. Prasara. Then I also ignore. I just do some movement of my hands like this, like that, and then continue my control work. I do something like that, like that. I do some work. I don't pay attention. Then comes what is called sthana samshrayam. Now my fingers start to hurt. My fingers start to hurt because this pain has radiated to my finger. Then also I don't pay attention. Oh, it's only finger. What can I do? It's only finger. Then what happens? It goes even further. It spreads to other parts of the body. Perhaps because this nadis in our language, nerves in medical language, is also connected to the lung, heart, etc. There is some imbalances that is coming. We pay no attention even that. Finally, Veda, it is hurting, it is collapsing us. We have a heart attack. Veda. It makes us collapse. We have a heart attack. Then we go for help. But had we paid attention to that in the first stage, when there was some tension, this would not have happened. So the patient will come to us not in the first stage, in an evolving state. No, that is not the main problem. So we have to evolve yoga therapy to trace it back to its origin. To trace it back to its origin, which sometimes may be obvious, sometimes may not be obvious. Because where the problem started, sometimes is not obvious. Especially if it is in the past. Maybe it started 10 years ago, you had a trauma, but you don't remember to put this and this together. So that's why yoga therapy is an evolving process because it takes time. It takes time. And that's a disadvantage because we cannot really give a short-term solution to people. Maybe to some degree, but we cannot really resolve their problems in a short term. It takes time. That's why I said it's a disadvantage to modern society because we want quick solutions. But it's an advantage in my view because when we go through that evolving process, the changes are sustained. We become sustained, we are sustained health, not temporary well-being. Temporary, not even well-being, temporary feeling of well-being. You have sustained health because then you will also understand a lot about yourself. Because very often the reason why we are suffering is normally because of us. Yoga we say, somebody cannot hurt you unless you allow himself to hurt you. Somebody can call you are a stupid fellow. But unless you feel you are stupid, that does not hurt you. You can just say, go to hell. I'm not going to suffer from this statement of yours. The same way, disease can affect us, but we may or may not suffer from it. You take great acharyas like Ramana Maharishi, etc. They went through surgery without anesthesia. How did they do it? Because they didn't allow the suffering to dominate. It doesn't mean we all can do that. We are not yet there. But we have to understand that it's an evolving process. When we go through yoga as a therapy, it will reveal a lot about our own suffering, our own choices that has made us to suffer. That's why, in my view, this is the most important principles of yoga therapy. Very easy to remember, because if you practice this, you will shine. Vidya loves shining now. That's why there is so much gold.